Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome NAR Vice President of Association Affairs, Brian Copeland.
All right, I get the benefit of the fun part of the day today. And I want to say thank you for the lunch. It was sponsored by your favorite vegetable, butter, which was marvelous. So thank you for whoever did the menu. It was marvelous for us, people from Tennessee, Idaho, Kansas. We love our butter there. If you notice, on January 22nd, you received an email at 2:30 Eastern Time. Paragraph 3, sentence 2 said, in order for you to get your reimbursement, you must pass the test that I'm about to give you guys. Oh, you laughed, Kevin. Come on. No, I'm totally joking. But this is the fun time where we do have our quiz for the day. See how you've been doing so far. Here in the back of the room, I have got staff throughout the room with all kinds of prizes. Okay, so you need to be answering these questions. They're based off what you've learned this morning already. And based off your answers, you will get the free swag. So I am going to kick off the questions. If you know the answer, please raise your hand. Once a staff nears you, points at you, give that answer very loudly so the room can hear you. And then we're going to get going here, okay? The first question. How old is the FPC program? Wait a second. Wait till you're called on here. Nope, that's not the right answer. What was it? Right here we have the correct answer, right here. Okay? Question 2, what percentage of FPCs consider themselves close friends or family to their member of Congress? That's the correct answer, thank you. How many FPCs are in this year's group? Right here, Sid? 138, correct answer. What session of Congress are we currently in us? Pardon me? Yes. Okay, now this is going to take a lot of thought on this one, so it's got lots of answers, but only one person will get to answer this question. There are 9 of them, but I need 4 of the FPC's required responsibilities. 4 of the 9 right here. Great. The other ones, good job. The other ones are respond to call for actions, advocate on behalf of the Realtor Party, contact your legislator at least once per quarter and submit the field report, participate in a training session, deliver all RPAC contributions in a timely manner, attend each annual May meeting, and you got all the rest of them. Great. All right, next one. What is the 3 strikes rule? Right over here.
Not doing 3 consecutive field reports.
What is the 3?
You're out.
Okay, there you go. That's the easy answer, yes. Okay? There are several rules. If you do not perform those, you have 3 out, you're out. Okay, or we will talk to you, as she said. Question number 7. How many times did Victoria mention the word website this morning? Just kidding, just kidding. The answer is 727. Okay, how quickly should you file your FPC report? Over here. Right here, in the mustard yellow. You don't know? Okay, right here. No?
It's within 14 days.
No? Right here? What is it? No? Within what time period? Nope.
Over here.
Nope.
ASAP.
There is a time frame on it. Within what amount of time? Nope. Nope.
7 days.
Correct. Within 1 week. Within 1 week. Thank you. We have an acronym. I need you to tell me what this acronym means. RPMIC. Right here. Iona. What was that? Nope, that's not correct. Nakia. Correct. Correct. Thank you. Good job. Now, who is the RPMIC chair this year? Okay, over here.
Fran.
Fran who? Thank you, Fran Davis. Good job. Who hasn't got anything yet, and they really want something? Who hasn't got anything, they really want something, really bad? Okay. Who is the president of NAR this year? All right, there we go, John's baby. You know, you have to have one in there. Okay. Yes or no? Is the hub a place to talk about weather and share the pictures of your grandbaby? Andrew! Andrew, right there, got the big no right there. Raise your hand, Andrew, wave, all right. This has got 10 answers to it, so I need 3 of these answers. There's 10 answers, I need 3 of them. Name 3 of the top things staffers hate to hear on the Hill. Raise your hand, please. Right back here.
Why am I standing out in the hall?
Great.
How come that's true? Steve Colbert said something different.
Great.
And how much money do you pay to vote for or not vote for that bill?
Great. Thank you so much. All right, several answers to this, but I want one person to raise their hand and give me the answer. What are some things to avoid when meeting with your person from Congress?
Don't give them a check while you're in their office.
Great. Don't give them a check. One more. Give me one more. Who can give me one more?
Don't do it on government property, and that includes parks and recreation areas.
Okay, not on the list, but okay. Okay, it's Iona, so we'll do it. Okay, next question. What is the name of the FPC Facebook group? And I need it exactly correct. The name of the FPC Facebook group. If you do not know the name of it, you won't be able to find it unless you type it in exactly the way it's supposed to be in Facebook.
I took a picture of it.
Les, you got to, oh, here we go. Ashley? You got it? No? Right here? Yes? No, I had this right here. What is it? That is correct. Good job. The NAR Federal Political Coordinators with an S on the end of it. Okay? What is our call for action participation goal this year? What percentage is our call to action? Right over here. 20%? 40. What did you say? 20%. 20% was correct. Right there. Okay. What is the number one rule to remember about locations where you can present an RPAC check? The number one rule, you just heard it right here.
No government property.
No government property, correct. Is it okay to ask a member of Congress to vote on one of our issues while presenting them with a check?
No!
Everybody gets a car! Yeah. Staff, knock yourself out. Go give them something there, whoever said it. Oh, okay. On the reverse side, is it okay to deliver an RPAC check the day after the election?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Good, all right. Okay. How many members are you required to have on your contact team, and what is the deadline? Pete Dismang. Paul Dismang, sorry. Paul, 1, and what's the deadline? Right? No, that's not. So we got March 8th from Les right here. Paul Dismang, so we got half an answer. Okay, 2 more questions, and then we go into the bonus rounds. I need someone to please name at least 1 of the diversity chapters that we are associated with. Right here, Darren. No, that's not one of the diversity chapters that's on my list. Is that correct? That is added? Okay. I'm going by the list. Be nice. We're all pretty. We all win. Hate is an ugly color on everyone. Thank you. The other ones are
The
Asian-
National Association of Real Estate Brokers.
Right, that's another one. Correct. That's correct. The National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, the Asian Real Estate Association of America, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and the National Association of Gay and Lesbian Real Estate Professionals. Okay, and the last one before we go into the bonus round. Once you have identified the members of your contact team, who, and there's two of them, who do you send those names to? Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Victoria.
And? That's correct. Your RPMIC member and Victoria Givens. Now we're going to move into the hard bonus round. Hard. I shouldn't have used that as an opening because they're not that hard, y'all. Okay, so who hasn't got to answer a question that really wants to answer one?
Right over here.
Okay. Who took control of the House? What party is last election?
The Democrats?
The Democrats. Great. All right, another really easy one. Who wants another really easy one here? All right, over here, Maureen. Who is the Speaker of the House? Nancy Pelosi. Correct. Who is the House Minority Leader? The House Minority Leader.
Kevin McCarthy.
Who said that?
Right over here.
Yay, that's correct. Kevin McCarthy. This one's really hard, okay?
California.
But the prizes are better at this point, right? We still have some really high-end prizes after you give the good stuff away. How many freshman members of Congress are there this year? I need House, Senate, and delegate. House, Senate, and delegate. I need numbers. No, they're separated out. I need to know how many House, how many Senate, and how many delegate. Right here with Tommy Choi. No. But a good try, la 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 la, bah. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, it's 89 House, 9 Senate, and 1 delegate. Who is the Senate Majority Leader? Right back here. No.
No.
Who said that? Sarah Kalo got that correct. Mitch McConnell. Who is the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee? Oh, no. No gorillas. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. House, nope. Ways and Means. The chairman.
From Massachusetts.
From Massachusetts? Yes, back here. No. Do I hear Maxine Waters? No. Okay. Go for it. Go ahead and give this Kevin no prize. Oh, okay. Richie Neal from Massachusetts. Now, who's the chairman of the House Financial Services? Ah, yes! Right here, Maxine Waters. Here, either way. All right. And how many seats did Democrats gain in the House, and how many seats total do the Democrats hold? How many did they gain? How many do they hold?
46 and
You know what? You were so close anyway. It's 41 and 235. Give him a pink cup. Come on. All right. 3 more questions. How many seats do Republicans control in the Senate? How many seats do the Republicans control? Yes, George. Hey, George, you're stretching, but I will call you anyway. Yeah, exactly. Yes. 50 what? 53, that's correct, 53. All right. The right to petition your government is guaranteed by what amendment of the Constitution? First Amendment, that's right. And the final question. As FPC, what is your most valuable asset to NAR? What one thing do we want to strive to maintain at all cost? One word. One word. What is it? Nope. Who said trust? Trust, right back here. Y'all owned this quiz. I'm proud of you guys. Welcome back to the stage, the amazing and marvelous Victoria Givens.
Get another round of applause for Brian because he's amazing. Love Brian Copeland.
We're going to welcome up to the stage our wonderful lobbyists and political directors, April Gavin, Zach Rubin McCary, Helen Devlin, Jack Grecian, and Joe Harris.
We are going to, okay, I feel like I should figure out what I'm saying. Okay. We are not going to do the lobbyist role play. We are going to try and stay on time, and we will save that lovely nugget of thespian talent for May, okay? And we'll get right into the serious stuff. So it's usually a crowd pleaser, but you know, now we're going to make you wait for it. All right, welcome guys. How are you doing? Great. So we'll just get it started off and ask. I'm going to start with some questions, and then if you all have questions as we move through this panel, you can feel free to stand up and ask. Otherwise, we'll have some questions at the end. So, looking down the road, what will be the priorities and challenges facing members of Congress and this new Congress, kind of after what we heard yesterday? What would you all say are the takeaways they should take from that?
I guess I can start. I'm Helen Devlin. I've been with NAR for a little while. I think the biggest challenge really is, that we have this divided government right now. We have, and it's a more unique situation than in the past. We have usually when you have two parties that govern one of the three, you'll get agreement with those two and be able to get some things done. But it's a very different situation now because. You have the new Democratic Congress, which Joe can talk about more in the House. You've got the Senate, but the White House is also kind of a more independent, unique kind of entity this time around. So it's a new ball game for everyone trying to come up with solutions and that. I think one of the biggest things facing this Congress is, again, the 2020 elections is going to be overlooming. You have a brand new House that's going to want to keep that power. You have the leader of the Senate is going to want to maintain that Republican leadership in the Senate, and then of course you have the White House race. So it's not meaning to be too doom and gloom, but I think it really is going to be a challenge to get a whole lot of major substantive issues done. We hope they'll work on the things we care about, the flood insurance and a few other things I think we'll talk about in a minute. But I do think it's a different ballgame now, a different way of negotiating and trying to find solutions.
I'll piggyback on what Helen said. I'm Joe Harris, one of the lobbyists here at NAR. I think in the Democratic caucus, one of the challenges we're going to face is just quite simply a lot of new faces. I mean, we have a ton of new members. That means a ton of new staffers to get to know and sort of educate about the issues that we care about. So that is it's a chore that we take very seriously, and we have a plan to do that. But right off the bat, those are one of the things that I can think about. It's been a very busy few weeks wearing out the leather on my shoes on that one, but it's a lot of fun. And piggybacking also on what Helen said, we're kind of in uncharted territory. It'll be interesting to see how much governing happens in the next year. We anticipate a lot of investigations, a lot of hearings, looking into tax returns and things of that nature. So it'll be interesting to see how much oxygen is left in the room to actually deal with the issues of the day that matter most to people. And that's something that, makes our jobs, your jobs, extremely important. Kind of keeping folks on task, making sure they're talking about the economy, making sure they're talking about ways that they can improve people's lives. And for us, talking about the importance of home ownership. I know that on the Ways and Means Committee, I actually sat next to Chairman Neal at dinner last night, and he remarked to me that the news reports that were coming out of the White House about the administration maybe being interested in looking at SALT were accurate. That's good to know. If there's some deals to be made, let's try to make some deals. And I think all the time on the news, you see Republicans and Democrats kind of yelling at each other. And yes, there's a lot of partisanship, but there are members, as Kevin Sears knows, Richie Neal, who there are members like him in the caucus who are there to do the people's work and want to get things done. So the question for me is, will we have enough political bandwidth to do that and also get after the issues that the Ocasio-Cortezes of the world want to focus on?
So you're kind of talking about what Congress and what their issues are. What would you say are our top 3 or 4 issues? And I'm going to ask 2 questions here. Then we've asked all of these folks to have a meeting in the district between now and the end of March in the first quarter. Should they be bringing up all of those things, one of those things? Kind of talk a little bit about the issues that we're facing and what they should be talking about. And I think you heard from Julie earlier today, and this is, we said to kind of wait with bated breath. How do you make what we heard yesterday salient with these members, and how is GSC reform sexy? So that's like 3 questions in one, and I'll let you guys take it. Maybe Joe, you start, or Zach.
Well, first of all,
what are our issues, first
making
of all?
GSC sexy? Come on now, that's never going to happen. But it is an extremely important issue.
Most staff on the Hill don't even know what GSCs are either. So everyone's in the same boat.
But yeah, obviously on the heels of what we did yesterday, it got a lot of positive press. Helen and I actually met with the Democratic staff members on Senate Banking today to talk about the white paper that we unveiled yesterday. There's a lot of buzz, and there's a lot of excitement and anticipation of the possibility of getting something done once and for all to bring Fannie and Freddie out of conservatorship. So I think for us, housing finance reform, obviously, the perennial favorite for everybody, the National Flood Insurance Program. I forget who I was talking to the other day when I went to his office, but I said, I hate to sound like a broken record, but we need to get this thing done. We need it extended on a long-term basis, but we also need to make some reforms. We're not just asking to kick this can down the road. We need the program to actually be solvent. So flood insurance is going to be an extremely important issue that we continue to educate staff and members on.
Yeah, just kind of following up on what Joe said, the other big thing is, well, first, my name's Zach. Those of you I haven't had the chance to meet yet, I'm a political representative here. One thing to keep in mind as you're heading into these first meetings, this is the first time a lot of you have met this member of Congress. So, while we are mentioning issues, you're trying to build and cultivate a strong relationship with this person. So, definitely tie it back to the district, tie it back to your business, tie it back to things you see going on. If you're talking about flood insurance and you live on a shoreline or near somewhere that's experienced a lot of flooding, talk about that, because I can tell you as a recovering Hill staffer, when somebody came into an office and said, hey, you know what, we're a constituent, we're a voter, but you know what else? We're a business owner in this district, and these are the things that, we've seen these policy, directly impacting on our communities. That stuff sticks with them, and, exactly the kind of stuff Brad was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think, the same as you're saying. I mean, one of the things that makes our program so unique and so successful is because members have these unique relationships with somebody back home. So I can go in their office and they can say, okay, Helen came by and dropped off these, but what does so-and-so back in the district really think about that? What is John Weichel going to tell me when I go to Louisville? I mean, it's that kind of thing that makes a difference. We want and hope that you all can be sort of that expert back home for them. You know what's going on in your districts. You know what's going on with your business. They'd rather hear that. Usually that's the first question, is what's going on with the housing economy in my community? And we would love it if these members look to you to be that expert of exactly what's going on in your hometown. And that's really one of the ways to start that relationship with them. Have them rely on you for that, and then we can get into the larger issues. And also, if you're having a meeting and you need information, call your poll rep. They've got links to all the different things that have been talked about today. We've got some great state information about the impact of housing every time a house is sold. We've got great district information about what's going on. And if you can't find it on the websites or anywhere, please call one of the poll reps. They'll be glad to get it, or us. We'll be glad to get it to you before your meeting.
Yeah, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jack Greason. I'm one of the other political directors. I'm the guy that's all in pink on the map. You know, one of the pieces that I've had this question come up today and in previous conversations from new FPCs is, you know, sometimes people feel like, hey, maybe my new member of Congress isn't going to be the leader on our key issues. Maybe they're not going to lead the charge on GSE reform. You know, this becomes incumbent upon you to do a little bit of research and going back in the news and figure out what their headlines are with regard to housing and figure out where they have issues that coalesce with ours. And oftentimes when you find those issues, you can back into the items like GSE reform, particularly in areas like Chicago, for instance, you know, where affordable housing is a really big issue. They don't you know, some of our members may not realize the importance of how GSE reform is ultimately going to affect the ability for people to have affordable rents, affordable housing purchases in those marketplaces. And sometimes, again, picking up on some of the smaller issues that we have, backing into those bigger issues, and particularly with their legislative directors, moreover than the congressmen themselves initially, you can often find common ground to have further conversations on some of the other things like NFIP, et cetera. So again, not too many tasks, but you know, a little bit of research will go a long way when you guys reach out to them.
And I just wanted to piggyback on what you said about just because your member of Congress isn't on this committee or is going to, you know, in 2 years that could change. When I was Hill staffer back in 2001, 2, 3, 4. There were a lot of members around here that were here 24 years, 30 years, 40 years. The Dingles of the world are still there. Today, people don't stick around that long. So it's amazing how quickly you can get on some of these A-list committees like Ways and Means, Energy and Commerce, Financial Services. So just because your member today is on small business, in 2 years, they could be on Ways and Means. So, you know, don't sleep on it. Make sure we're educating them about the issues because you don't know what's going to happen. Politics tells us that. We have no idea what's going to happen in 2 years.
That's true. So another quick question. One of the veteran FPCs brought up how all these members are, you know, immediately running for Congress again, you know, right after they get elected. So maybe, April, you could answer. They're tending to constituent concerns, fundraising concerns. How is it that FPC involvement can, on the political side, can help with that?
Well, sure. Obviously, that in-state money that y'all are allocated, that is what that is for. That is for you to be a friendly face with a big smile that says, hey, I'm here to support you. And that way, when you go into their office and talk about legislative stuff, because remember, we don't do those at the same time, they will remember you and they'll be like, oh, but they did come to my fundraiser. So yay, they're a friend. And I can't legally tell you to go volunteer on their campaign, but if you so chose to do something like that, that's a great way to do it too, because they really appreciate all the extra man hours that they can get. And y'all are some of the most connected people in your communities, so spreading the word about what a great guy, you know, Pete Sessions is, goes a long way.
Is there a reason that we support both parties and not just one?
Sure. We work both sides because we like the big wall in our DC office says we support everything that touches the land. Well, we have some issues that are super Republican leaning in nature, and then we have some that are a little bit more liberal in nature, and quite frankly, we work them all. And so you may not agree with us on tax reform, but you might be with us on GSE reform. So we like to find that commonality. Everybody votes. We just hope you vote with us. Right.
I want to ask maybe some of the questions that we get from FPCs about being in tough situations that we get, and sometimes you guys might confront. Tracy was talking earlier about President's Circle, and your member of Congress might say, well, you know, my friend AOC just got on President's Circle. Why can't I get on it? What does an FPC do in that situation?
Yeah, sure, I'll jump on that grenade. Chances of AOC getting on President's Circle. Don't want to weigh in just yet. You know, that's often a question we get a lot. You know, inevitably someone in this room in 2 more years, we're going to be having a really difficult conversation because you're going to be the FPC for someone that we may be going to bat for, right? And that's going to be a really big challenge because someone's going to be picking up the phone and going, I hate your member of Congress. Literally, I hate your member of Congress, or some other expletive added in. And bottom line, when we're supporting, as April just talked, we support people on both sides of the aisle, and it's always based on their engagement with our issues, whether it's signing letters, co-sponsoring legislation, votes. Having a good committee helps, being involved, showing up at their local realtor association, engaging with you. All of these things play into whether or not we support these people. Be prepared, though. When we support them, though, we hear the other side. And it's not the majority, it's often the minority of the opposing side, but we hear it from Republicans, we hear it from Democrats, we hear it from people in the middle. There is a wide variety. It is very rarely ever nice, but at the end of the day, you have that person up there, you're the champion for them, and then people from around the country are coming to bat and to support this person financially. So again, when I talked a moment ago about trying to back people into our issues because they're not necessarily going to be on our key committees, taking on tax reform, taking on GSE reform, there's opportunity to build up a realtor champion if you've done your work, if you've looked at the things that they're involved with, and you see that opportunity.
I'm going to ask one more question before opening it up for a few questions. But one question that I get a lot, these FPCs will go in sometimes to a really close friend. So a lot of you here, you have your good friend as your member of Congress, and they come in and the congressman says, well, this bill is good for Kentucky. NAR is against it, and I just am really questioning your judgment as FPC that why aren't you on my side? How does an FPC not get rolled? How is it that what would you do in that situation?
Well, I know it's a tough one, and I know a lot of FPCs sort of faced that last year with the tax reform bill because different issues meant different things in different parts of the country. I think, the National Association of Realtors deals with national federal issues, and we try to look at what happens to the overall housing market when federal issues come about. So that's why you're talking to your federal official to look at these things at a more of a national level sometimes. And it might be different, or it might be something that eventually, while the numbers don't mean that in Kentucky some of these limits that were in the tax bill are going to hit, they might someday, because guess what? None of those numbers were indexed to go up with inflation. So I think that's really the most important thing to say, look, this is about national policy. This is about what nationally we think might happen to the housing market. I know it's a tough one, and I thank you all that went through some of that last year. It wasn't easy, but we appreciate it.
And I'd also add, no member of Congress is going to be with us on 100% of everything that we, as an organization are advocating for. So always keep that in mind and, understand that, they might not be with us on this, like Pete Sessions was just saying, but down the road, they might be in a position to help us. So having that strong relationship and being able to have a strong dialogue, even if there might be some differences, is, a really key part of why this program's so successful.
Thank you guys so much.